11th, 2021 at 7 p.m. at the Preble Town Hall, 1968 Road, Preble, New York, with regard to the proposed adoption of local law number 1 of the year 2021 to opt out of section 487 of the New York State Real Property Tax Law. So if anybody needs some clarification on what this law is or has any questions or comments on it, please speak up. We discussed this last month and decided to do a public hearing at this time. So if anybody has any word on this, if not, if there's no activity or any comments or questions, we can make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, at this time, please stand for the pledge for the regular meeting.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Preble Town Board monthly town board meeting dated January 11th, 2021. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions to the regular meeting in December or the year-end meeting?
Year-end meeting that said in there that started at 2:00. I got here at 2:00. It was over. It started at 1:00. The start time was just wrong on that.
Okay. Any other corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes? Okay,
Make a motion to accept minutes.
right. Need a motion to accept the minutes?
Make a motion to
Dave?
accept it.
Makes the motion.
Second it.
Okay, Dave made a second on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay, Jane?
Dog control. She traveled 95 miles for the town. The justice report, $12,323 fees collected in December.
Thanks, Jane. Jeff, highway report?
Right, so I got a written copy, I believe, one there for you, Jane. The meeting, Stacy Russell from SWCD Soil Water District and a rep from Portland County tomorrow at 9 o'clock regarding the water issue up on East Hill Road. And the rest of it's pretty much standard. Anybody interested in helping write the Preble employee emergency preparedness policy that the governor's mandated, looking for volunteers. Let me know. Thanks.
Okay. Any questions for Jeff?
I assume they're gonna give you some kind of template to use.
I haven't seen it yet, but that's my first stop is to,
Yeah.
hoping after the first year they throw some things up there.
Right.
It'd be a shame to everybody to start from scratch.
Recreation? Hank, you have anything for us?
Yeah, not really.
No?
Just come down and listen.
Yeah, okay, good. County legislature, Kevin?
Yep. So Dan Deneen, the director of planning, that you guys knew that he retired officially. He's been working with us on a part-time basis. So in December, we did some interviews. The posting is still up and everything, so we're gonna let that go through to see if we can, get more applicants. Only 3 applicants applied, for that position. So if we could merge them all together, you would have the perfect person and stuff. So Dan is still accepted to stay part-time until we find a viable candidate for that. So for the vaccines for Cortland County is that the governor put out the A1, B1 list of people to get vaccinated and stuff. The problem is that Cortland County doesn't have any vaccine. So the legislature, are working with Albany to try to come up with some. So if we get people to, we've had phone calls upon phone calls, about those people in those categories wanting to know where to go to get the vaccine, and we just don't have it yet. So that's a problem. What's come up in the agenda is the committee meetings. We're all suspended for this month, and they're putting everything under budget and finance to go through for our committees. So going through the committees, for some reason, someone put in a $55,000 transfer from the jail reserve to the legislators. I call fund balance. Don't ask me why. So that's going to be a hot topic for us to turn down. And really, I think other than that, December was, kind of a slow month and everything. I did go to Preble, or the town of Homer's, last week, and it was brought up there that they heard a rumor mill, that the senior centers were not going to be, that they were just going to get rid of them. And that's not the truth for that. And I know here it's a little bit different and stuff, but it's going to be Office of the Aging is taking the senior centers, and they're just going to look at them differently and try to come up with new ways of bringing younger seniors in for that. But, they're not looking potentially opening these up. They're going to rethink it in the fall. So those are going to be nothing. Other than that, that's all we have. We are getting ready for February. Is the cooperative extension is going to work with the Ag and Planning Committee to get the legislators on a tour of ag. So we're starting to get that figured out now. So then to get the full legislator to go out to the agriculture, just to give them a little update, to show them what's going on. So that's what's going on there. And then the last thing is, everybody heard about the Livestock Control Law. It was in the newspaper and all that stuff. So as part of the ag, as the chair, it was turned down the way that it was presented at the Ag and Planning. Then we were looking at it as trying to figure out a way to go about it. And there really isn't a way to do that. So that was really dead in the water. So that's not coming up for this. What you will probably see is the SPCA and the Sheriff's Department come into municipalities to look to see if the town thinks that it needs one, is have it at the local level of the law be in place. This was brought to us by the SPCA and the Sheriff's Department and the DA, because they do have problems throughout the county. Not every municipality has the same problems. And what they looked at was trying to create one law for the county. And it just doesn't work. So that's where it's going. It's going to be dropped down to the local level. And if the local municipalities feel they need one, then they do. Then they can create their own. But right now, probably I could say maybe 6 municipalities have issues where it's repeat animals that are out and doing damage, and they're like, well, you can take them to court, you can do the insurance. But a lot of the smaller farms don't have them. They don't have insurance on there. So this was where this was starting to come up. They just wanted to be able to give the local law enforcement some, able to have some teeth with going out there. So if an ag has the exact same problem week after week because they're not repairing a fence. So the way that the SPCA, soil and water, we're all looking at grants that are already out there to help these farms with fencing. So there is grants out there for it. So that's what they're going to be doing right now. So when they have to go out there is to try to give the owners, you know, other avenues to get their fences fixed and stuff. So you'll see it. Okay.
Any questions for Kevin?
Yeah, the corona,
Go ahead.
the corona vaccines, what's the holdup on the state's end? I mean,
I don't know, honestly. Legislators had the directive of not contacting the health department because they're too busy to figure this out. So, yeah, we were directed to let them do their thing. So probably by tomorrow, tomorrow or Wednesday, we should have more idea with the contacts to Albany on where things are, you know, with that. But it is a big concern because we found out that Syracuse has been sending some positive patients down to Cortland because they don't have a lot of room. So they are bringing them down here.
Are there a lot of counties that don't have the vaccine yet, or?
Yeah. Now there's some, you know, private, you know, doctors' offices that have it. I don't know how they got it, but they have it, and they've been giving, you know, their people for that. So, but we'll keep you updated on when that comes up.
Now, are we sure how that's gonna work? Because, well, obviously what I heard working with the county is they're putting a pod in the parking lot that they're gonna work out of, but the healthcare workers that are administrating the shots are working out of the old activity center.
Mhm.
So nobody is actually coming into the county building. They'll either do it, come to your car and give you the shot. Is that the way it's going to
I don't know
work?
if it's the full thing because that new doorway that they just, that's why they haven't opened it yet, because they think they might be using that for part of the vaccination process. Thanks.
Okay, good. Thanks, Kevin. Jane?
Zoning and code, one building permit issued, 73 miles traveled, 8 building inspections, 29 hours worked, 2 fire inspections, 11 complaint follow-ups, 19 telephone inquiries. Planning board meeting is January 27th, ZBA meeting February 4th.
Thanks, Jane. Historian?
I have nothing.
Nothing today?
Not today.
Okay.
We collected $294 in fees, dispersed $281 to the town Preble, and $13 to New York State Labor Market.
Thanks, Jane. Unfinished business, we should vote on local law number 1, right, Don?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we need somebody to make a motion to pass local law number 1, having to do with opting out of section 487 of the New York State Real Property Tax Law. You want
Make a motion to accept it as Jim read it.
to, okay? Motion made by Dave. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Motion second by Mike. All in favor?
Hey,
Hey,
Carried. Now, Don, from here, just for everybody's benefit, where does this law go from here?
We'll file it with the state of New York, and I think it also has to go to NYSERDA, or it has to go to another state office, unlike most every other local law. So I'll have some forms signed by Jane before I leave tonight, and these will go out tomorrow or the next day to be filed appropriately. And it's effective once it's filed with the state.
And you take care of that filing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, I know we've had a little bit of an issue with this in the past. After that local law is, you get something back from the state, right, acknowledging that we passed this?
That's correct.
And then somehow, us incorporating that into our, some kind of, record keeping, like, the zoning code or something.
We should have a permanent file for the town under local law 1 of 2021. And we'll have, well, there'll be a copy of this that Jane will have for tonight. And then we send in 2 to the state so that they can return 1 to us, which shows the filing receipt. And we'll get you a copy of that. And that should go in the file as well. We keep
Okay.
it in our office as well.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good. Thanks, Tom. Okay, going on to new business, NYMER training. This is New York State mandated training. It all has to do with insurance on our end. There's 2 courses. One is called the new, well, it's a new course, New York State Discrimination and Harassment Act. I think that's about 42 or 43 minutes if you go online and take it, and workplace violence. So those are 2 courses that I know the board and probably Jeff, the highway guys, you should all be taking that, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Jeff, they mentioned that NYMER, I talked to NYMER today, and they said that like on your computer terminal, the 2 other guys can sit there with you and you can all watch it like
Yeah.
TV, in a
Yes.
group.
Socially distanced.
Yeah, right, of course. And then you just have to have a record in your file, Jeff, that you did that and the 2 other guys viewed it on a certain day and you put it in your file.
We do it every year. I just want to make sure the board was aware that everybody here is supposed to have it. It was
Right.
a bigger concern, because if it comes back that, something happens and you don't show where you've got it, it's good to show you have it.
Right,
It's on file.
we could be liable if something happens, there's a lawsuit against the town, and we do not make an effort to do this training. So I have the instructions on this handout of how to get in. You go to nymer.org. You use nymer_444 to get in, and then you create your username and password, and you do those 2 courses. So you can just do it whenever you want, and it'll be recorded that you completed that. And if you have any questions during regular business hours, you can call Stacy Humans. And if you have any glitches of getting through this computer hurdles, you can call her and she can help you with it. Next is Greater Thompkins Municipal Health Insurance Consortium, and as most of you know, our medical insurance for the 3 highway guys is done through the consortium, and there is a little bit of work on our part. When we were with Excel's Blue Cross Blue Shield, what we had to do is write a check every month and pay for it. Here, I guess we're paying maybe 1/3 to 1/2 less in our health insurance because we're going with the consortium. But in return, there is a little bit of work that we have to do. And so there are 2 sheets here where this is a resolution that I have to fill in, town of Preble in all those spaces. And then I have to sign this. So this is just routine paperwork for the year 2021. So we probably need a motion, right, Don, for me to complete this
Yes,
form.
you do.
Okay.
I make a motion that Jim can sign these so the guys can have their insurance program.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay. I got the unfortunate letter that Renee Compton has resigned from her position as recreation chairperson. She did a lot of work with the rec department and summer youth program and scheduling picnics in the park and so on. So we're looking for somebody to replace Renee. If anybody knows of anybody who would like to take on that responsibility, and there is pain in that. You know, there is a salary at the end of the year, small, but there is something for you. So if anybody would be interested in that, or knows of anybody that'd be interested in that, please see me. So we have to accept her resignation, right? Don?
That's correct.
Okay. So we need somebody to accept Renee's resignation.
I'll make a motion to accept Renee's resignation.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Next, we have appointments for 2021. Code Enforcement Officer is Rick Fritz. Deputy Supervisor, James Harris. Deputy Highway, Kevin Baldwin. Bookkeeper is Gina Norris. Historian, Jay Curry. Budget Officer, James Doring. Registrar of Vital Statistics, Jane Davenport. Justice Clerk, Haley Mertz. Assessor, William Barrett. Dog Control is Country Acres Animal Shelter, Lindsay Anderson. Secretary of ZBA and Planning Boards is Sue Wright. ZBA, Jay Curry has been appointed for another 5-year term. Yay, Jay. And Board of Assessment Review, Jay Curry to replace Charlie Daly. So Jay's doing 2 different jobs, 3 different jobs here. Yeah. Thanks, Jay. Charlie Daly did resign also. He didn't send me anything in writing, but he told me that he no longer wants to be on the Board of Assessment Review. So I took a verbal from him, and then immediately I called Jay, and I asked Jay to step in, and he agreed to.
Do we need a formal written?
I don't know if we do need a formal written from him.
No, I think you can accept that.
A verbal?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. So Recreation Advisory Committee, Rick Burt, James Doring, Nancy Daly, Tammy Fody, and we're looking for someone to replace Renee. Next item, extension of tax collection to the 31st day of May. We need a resolution for that. This is a routine item that we do every year. The county, I guess, is it the county or the state, Don, that has given us this privilege to extend it?
It's state law.
It's state law.
Yep.
Okay. So, but we just have to make a resolution to acknowledge this state law that we are going to implement this.
And you might include in that resolution, Jim, just affirming the appointments that you've listed as well.
Okay. So let's do a resolution to affirm the appointments that I just read.
So
Anybody
moved.
make a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, Mike moves, and we need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Dave seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And then we need a motion to for the extension of tax collection to May 31st.
I'll make a motion to extend the tax collection to March 31st.
May 31st.
Or May 31st.
Okay, that's Dave, and I need a second.
Second it.
Okay, Jim seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried. Monies received. We received $1,771.89 from Northeast Transformers, $741.92 from USPS, $122,002.46 from sales tax, county sales tax, $7,451.87 in mortgage tax, and then $64,844.38 in chip money, and that's for highways.
How much longer do we have on the Northeast Transformers?
Off the top of my head, I don't really know. We'd have to ask Gina Norris. Gina could tell you that.
Jeff, is that chip money? Is that where it should be?
You still have, probably 18,000 in rollover. You can use.
Okay, next we have the public comment period. Anybody who wants to ask a question of the town board of Preble or make a comment, express an opinion, whatever, it's now open for that. Anybody?
I'd like to say something.
Okay, could you introduce yourself and stand up?
Myself, my name is Seth Crawford. I live up on East Hill Road up here. I have a complaint with the highway department. I have an excess of water coming onto my property as a result of work done by the highway department. And as we sit right here right now, it is ruining my lawn, a part of my lawn right now. And I'm here to see what I can do about it.
Now, is this part of the 9 o'clock meeting you got tomorrow, Jeff?
It is.
So we really can't, we got people looking into it tomorrow and we'll see what they say and we can.
Okay.
We're not sure exactly what's going on, but we'll get a report from them.
What are they looking?
I got Stacy Russell, who's a water quality specialist from Soil and Water District. She took Pat Reedy's job. We dealt with Pat in the past. She's looking at soil conditions and like that as to what, and the drainage patterns for the hill. This all came about, it was in the holiday season right before, and they had people off. I couldn't get people to look at it. And before anything gets done up there, we're gonna have engineers look at it and decide what's going on. Because Mr. Crawford doesn't feel that what we do is good, because it's water coming from his neighbor onto his property. And so I told him a few weeks ago, getting engineers, I've done everything I said I was gonna do. Contacted engineers, the county was actually up there last week. I didn't know they were going up, or I would have been there with them. And Stacy from Soil and Water couldn't get there before this week sometime, so decided tomorrow to look at it. County's also gonna come back. So I guess I don't know what you want me to do as far as doing anything without an engineer and people that deal with this on a daily basis to
Well, I think,
back up on it.
I think with Mr. Crawford's request here, I think the best thing, and this is what we normally do as a town board, is instead of, because the town board is not an expert in your problem or most problems in the town. So what we do is we find an expert, we find a third party that is unbiased, that's not living in the town of Preble, and we ask them to come and to do a report, to inspect and do a report on the issue, and then they will file a report, and a report will go to us, to the town, and the report will probably go to you, and they will give their professional opinion on the situation. So as of right now, the town isn't doing anything. We're waiting for that professional engineer's report to come in. And so when we have that report, we can discuss it further.
Okay.
Is that fair enough?
Yeah, I would like to make some more of a statement though.
Yeah.
Well, as a result of the work that they did, this isn't an existing condition. It isn't something that just popped up. They did some work on my neighbor's property, which has created this issue. And I see dollar signs right now of erosion. And I've lived there I've grown up there, I've moved in and out, and I took it over after my mother passed away. And me and her tirelessly fixed the water problem there and made green grass and mobile grass. And it was, don't get me wrong, it's wet up there. But since they broke the ground up there on my neighbor's property, I have mud, I have pictures of it, if you'd like to see them. I have mud coming out of my soil right in line where they broke ground.
All right, this is something you're gonna have to talk to the engineer about. We can explain all of this to them.
What about the work that they did that created this?
We're not at that point quite yet. We need to get that engineer's report first.
Before they touched it, I didn't have this issue. They did this.
Well, they will be able to tell us if that is a truly condition of what happened. They will be able to tell us, yes, it's definitely because of what Jeff did. or the
Because-
highway
because-
department, rather.
We really need a third party to arbitrate on this, because otherwise it's you against Jeff, and, you know, you're trying to solve
Well,
a
sure,
problem.
I just wanted it known that
Mhm.
where they did the work, now I have a problem.
And not only that, they will be able to help us, hopefully solve the situation.
Right.
What we need to do to
Right.
rectify the water flow.
Okay, now, and after that, I had this issue on my property of my lawn needing to be fixed.
Mhm.
Where do I stand with that, since it was created?
We don't, like I said, we're not at that point yet. We need that engineer's report to specify what exactly is the problem.
Okay.
And then give recommendations on how to resolve that problem. And so they will give us those recommendations. And
Okay.
if they say, if the outside engineer says, town of Preble has to do this, this, and this, then we'll do that. And on the other hand, if the engineer says, this is beyond the town of Preble's scope, that it was from some other cause. Now, I don't know, because I wasn't up there
Sure.
to look at it, but if they say something like that, then we have to go in that direction. So we don't know yet until we get the report.
Okay.
And you certainly can have input to that engineer when he comes and visits your property and looks at it.
Okay, I would speak with them.
Mm-hmm.
You be there tomorrow?
Can't guarantee that, are they going to be there?
Jeff, what time is
9
this?
o'clock tomorrow morning.
9 o'clock tomorrow.
I can be there at 9 o'clock.
Okay, good.
I have some other questions. What authority or how far does the state agent or the town agency have to go on private property and molest the ground and do things?
Well, Jeff could probably answer this question better than myself on how far off the road can the town put their machinery?
Most roads in this town are 3-rod road, so you're talking, it's basically at 50 feet, you're talking 25 foot from center line. So
Okay, if you are able to go on private property, how do you get that
you
authority?
have to get an easement. If it's something that's just temporary, it's a temporary easement, time can go to that. If
Did
it's
you
something
get
that
an
needs to be
easement before
maintained
you
for
went?
years to come, there'd be a permanent easement needed.
Did you get an easement for that work that you did?
I got verbal approval from the gentleman in the trailer. I asked him if we could put a hand dug ditch down there. Machinery never touched that.
Yes, it did.
From the road it did, but it never went down the
I
driveway
went,
because I didn't want it on his
took
driveway.
pictures of it.
We're gonna talk about this tomorrow up there, but you're, one hand, you're asking me, why am I going on somebody else's property? And in the very same breath, you're saying I need to come on my property and fix my lawn,
That's
so,
not what I'm saying.
all right, we'll handle this tomorrow.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Well, was a rule broken in the town?
I'm sorry,
Of you taking equipment onto their property?
I can't hear you.
Did you go onto their property with equipment and you diverted water onto my property?
Wait a minute, that's what everyone has said, is we're not gonna turn this into a you against our highway superintendent. Let's take it a step at a time. We're gonna have someone from soil and water there tomorrow. Take it a step at a time, give input to that person, listen to what that person has to say as well. There's no guarantee that anyone's gonna be fully satisfied here. But we, as a board, can't really tell you one way or another until the process is followed. I think what it sounds to me like the highway superintendent made arrangements for this lady to come up tomorrow. So let's let that step, it doesn't sound to us like Jeff is ignoring this in any way. So please let tomorrow occur and then let's move forward from there.
So I was past all that. I was just wondering if there's a procedure and policy in the town where a public works company can go on to private property. And was that abided? That's my question now.
This board can't answer that question, sir. We don't have enough facts, and it's not really in the province of the board to get into that. This is in the province of the highway superintendent. Ultimately, it could come to us, but we don't have the particular information to help you.
Who does?
I think by going through the process tomorrow, you're gonna learn things. which I think will be helpful to everybody, including you.
Sure, I want the problem solved. But why the problem occurred? Why don't, I'm very frustrated with that answer. And I want an answer of what they're allowed to do without an easement. They had equipment in there for over 150 feet to a propane tank. I watched it, and if that broke a town's policy, or if they shouldn't be doing that, and now there's a result that I have an issue on my property, that's why it's concerning me. And there's been a water issue there for years. It's destroying the brand new road that the town paid for, somebody pays for it, with the ice, the extra manpower, the salt, the asphalt's breaking there. And I brought that to Jeff's attention months ago with another.
Well, the engineer that's coming tomorrow may have some input on what to do with this road and how to deal with it, given the water and the soil composition and so on. They can look into all of that. The slope of the hill, they take all of that into account to offer recommendations on what we can do and what you can do, what all of us can do to help alleviate this.
Can the town approach a landowner and say that your water issue is affecting the road? Or, because that was the initial problem. That's why they went up there and did the work, because it was icing over the road constantly. And obviously it's damaging the road, and it takes extra manpower, salt, resources. Does the town have an authority to go to them and say, hey, you need to correct your water problem? Because it's coming out to the.
See what they say
road.
tomorrow.
Yeah, as a supervisor,
Yeah, we can't.
I'm not an expert in road building, and so that's why we go to outside engineers for their opinion. So,
I just,
there's only so far we
I was
can
just
go
wondering
as
if
a
the town
board.
could approach them and say, fix your water problem.
Only so.
If you don't have it, I especially don't.
So we'll see what tomorrow brings, and again, feel free to give this engineer as much input as you can, so that he or she has as much information as they can to write a report that's effective.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, I will.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Questions or comments about anything? Okay. Need a motion to pay the general fund vouchers?
Make a motion to take general fund vouchers, abstract number 1, numbers 1 through 15, totaling $4,644.50.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Need a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers?
I'll make a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers, abstract number 1, numbers 1 to 7, totaling $1,729.91.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Need a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
For that back.
Oh, yeah.
Brother in Lafayette.
Well, I thought you had to say your.